Now, vector operations is where we're going to actually do a little bit of adding and multiplying. So hopefully you're okay with adding and multiplying. If not, not sure how you made it to high school. So if we are talking about scalar multiplication, scalar sounds like a reptile, I'm a snake. Vector addition, this is actually pretty simple. So what you need to look at is this little picture over here. We have our vector u that goes in this direction. Then you have a vector v that goes to the right. So at the end of u, you start with a vector v, which starts at the tip of u, and then it goes off in this direction. Well, if we were to combine those two, and we have our vector addition, the vector addition is formed by joining the initial point of your first vector with the terminal point of your second vector. So if you start at u, if you have u plus v, you start at u, and you go up, here's the end of u, and then you start with v and you end up over here, you're not worried about anything that's over in this area. You are only worried about the distance from where you started with u to the final point of v. So that is where you're going to find your u plus v. Starts here, goes all the way up here. Okay, that is u plus v, and that's what you have to understand. You're not adding this distance plus that distance. Okay, don't make that connection. Now, if we want to add two vectors together, then what we do is we just take the components of each of those vectors. So if you have a vector u sub 1 comma u sub 2, and vector v sub 1, v sub 2, what you can do is you can add those together by just adding your u sub 1 and your v sub 1. It's going to give you your answer here. And then you could add your u sub 2 and your v sub 2. That gives you the answer over here. That gives you your sum. Now if you are multiplying a scalar multiple, k times u, then what you do is you have to take k times both of these components. Notice you have a k u sub 1 and a k u sub 2. So let's try example 3 here, where we have a vector u, which is 1 comma 2, and a vector v, which is 3 comma 1. And we're going to find each of the following vectors. So the first part, we're going to start with a 2 times our vector v. So that is a 2 times your vector v, which is a 3 comma 1. And when you multiply these through, 2 times 3 just gives you a 6. 2 times 1 gives you a 2. Ta-da! Yay, you just multiplied single-digit numbers. So make sure you tell your parents that's what you learned today. Now, we got a little confusion here. These should not be W's. These should be U's. My apologies. Actually, my secretary apologizes. This should be U minus V, and this would be a V times U. Sorry, V plus 2 times U. It's hard to do a W if you don't have a W. So let's do U minus V, which means we're going to take our vector U, which is a 1 comma 2, and we're going to subtract our vector V, which is a 3 comma 1. And when you do this, you subtract the components that are the same. Now your first values are your x components, but they're also called your horizontal components. So we're going to take a 1 minus 3, comma, then we're going to have to take our 2 minus 1. You have to go in the correct order it gives you. So you have to do u minus v. You can't take v minus u. So this is going to end up being a 2 minus 1. When you simplify those, 1 minus 3 gives you a negative 2. 2 minus 1 gives you a 1. There is u minus v. So make sure you tell your parents that you also subtracted single-digit numbers today too. They'll be so impressed. They're like, wow, your grade in pre-calc is going up so fast. You're like, I know, I don't know what I'm doing. No, seriously, I don't know what I'm doing. Alright, finally on C, you have to take v plus 2 times u. So your v is 3 comma 1. However, your u, you're going to have to take 2 times your vector u, which is a 1, comma 2. So we need to multiply those first. So we're going to say, we're going to have our 3, 1 here. And then we're going to have our 2, 2, or sorry, 1, 2, but we multiply those by 2. So you have to multiply first before you add these, just like in Please Excuse My Dear Aunt Sally. So if we add these together finally, you're going to end up getting 3 plus 2 is your horizontal component. 1 plus 4 is your vertical component. So in that case, we multiplied and added single-digit numbers. Glad you guys can't see me. I'm sweating here. This is tough stuff. So basically, you just have to do what you see. If you have any questions, we will send you to my kindergarten daughter because she knows how to add already. Enjoy example 3.